So we've made a decision on where we're going to have our land. So now we have to decide what to do with it, I presume. So there's more planning, there's more thinking here.
Yeah, you have to think your brains out. It's amazing how much thought processes go before we even can start with the design. And so one of the most important things is, Katrina, do you want to live off the land? Or do you just want your sanctuary, your private national park?
I think I'd like to live a bit off the land. That would make sense. And even if it wasn't straight away, I'd be planning for that.
Yeah.
And I also like the idea of living off it in a way that would share what I'm doing with others, because I know there are different aspects when we talk commercialization that can be quite interesting. It's not just selling produce, is it? You could have people come to that place. So I think live a bit off the land. Why not?
Okay. Yeah, that's an important decision to make. And then the second thing is, so do you have an idea of main crops you would like to grow? Or like,
you'd need to give me an example of a speciality fruit.
Yeah. For example, buckthorn. You can make a lot of things out of it. You can make ketchup out of it.
Okay.
Have a ketchup factory of buckthorns growing in your backyard, or you can grow like different kind of roses and have the rose hips, which you can make jam out of it, or also ketchup.
You can also do products for the face. That I do know with rose hips. That roses feels quite quintessentially English to me. So perhaps I could have some roses in there with my buckthorn. Yeah. That would be nice. Definitely nuts, as I said. Yeah. Doesn't have to be walnuts. You're the walnut addict. I will leave that to you.
I
like
compete
almonds.
with me.
I will not compete with you. I do like almonds. A lot.
Okay.
So I could. There's something lovely about handling nuts as well. I do like. I do like.
Exactly. That. So you have to think, if you want to live off the land for yourself, it's important. Okay, what's your diet? Who's gonna live with you on the land? What do they like to eat? And cater their needs a little bit. And business-wise, you have to specialize a little bit. For example, if you grow 150 varieties, 150 different kind of fruits and nuts, it's possible, of course, to make a business out of it and be known as the gal with 150 varieties. Or you can say like, okay, I'm gonna maybe have 150 varieties, but like my biggest bulk is going to be
specialize in something.
So people know, oh, that's the one with the buckthorn ketchup.
Okay.
Or the one with the rose
hip facial that makes you look 15 even when you're 95.
Exactly.
Fantastic. And would you have to? You mentioned previously, in conversation about going to municipalities. Yeah. This is all about land. This is all about convincing people. This is buying up plots of land. So do I need to have my thinking elaborated to that stage before I'm going to, do you think? Or
well, normally, most of the time you do not need a permit to plant trees.
Okay.
Sometimes you may need a permit if it's, for example, a kind of protected pasture.
Yeah.
Then you can only grow big apple trees, for example, or big pear trees. That's allowed, but you cannot really alter the pasture. It still needs to be pasture. So sometimes you have to know the little details about it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, with living off the land, you can live off the produce, sell the produce, and if you sell the produce, you have two things. You have one thing is you sell it just the way it is.
Yes.
Which is risky in my opinion, because if I want to sell you this, I only have a limited time frame to sell it to you, because it's perishable.
Yeah.
But at the other hand, if you make marmalade out of it or juice,
so there's some processing involved in this.
You add value to it. But it's also, you can store it for a year or 2 years, and it gives you more time to sell it. So for me, a business perspective, it's better to process, to have your business also based on one of the pillars that it's processed, so it gives you more time. Otherwise, it's stressful. You need to have it sold. If it's not sold, you're doomed.
Okay. So you've got to back up all of this passion, emotion, and DNA with some proper thinking and planning. Otherwise, it's all very well to build it. Because I think you're saying to me, Kat, it's not really just about a utopia, and it's really about the business that goes. I mean, yes, you can have the utopia if all you want to do is have it as your sanctuary. You said, but you might not want that. You might want to live off it, with it, by it, and therefore you need to be thinking more widely. That's strategically. That's just a decision you need to make, and every decision is good. It just has to be congruent with your lifestyle. You can also say, look, I love to have this utopian place with an abundance of fruit, but my main income is not going to come from this fruit. It's going to come from people being attracted by this. And for example, I know people who hold events in their food forest or workshops. I know people who are therapists and they use it as a therapeutical garden. And the people work there. For example, I've seen it in a psychiatric hospital, and the patients are working in this food forest, and they literally told me when I was interviewing them for a documentary I shot, they said, look, I've been with therapists inside the building, it helps, but my real healer is nature. So it's really it's therapeutic properties to work in nature. They've been doing it for centuries. And so that's something you can do too, or have a bed and breakfast, for example, where you serve breakfast made of marmalades you made yourself. So there's a lot of options. There's an awful lot of options as to how, but that's great. That's great. I think, and I think the therapeutic side, and I think we are living at that time in history very much. Not least because of the pandemic, but plenty of other reasons where people are questioning lots of things. They're looking at the health of themselves. They're looking at the health of the planet. They're looking, so it is kind of a good moment perhaps to capitalize on that. Yeah, exactly. People are overworked, overstressed. They need to escape the rat race more than ever. The pandemic has shown us that we need nature, and so this could be an opportunity if that is what you want. It could be my opportunity for buckthorn ketchup. Exactly. Amazing. Buckthorn ketchup therapy. I like